Imagine that. 3 minutes early. Unbelievable. On early 2 in the day. Normally not on this time. I used to be on this time. I used to do book reviews, which I have to go back. I've got so many book reviews, author interviews that are in my inbox, and I apologize to all of you emailing me. And we even have people that we had on before that have written a second book. But I've just been like stressed to the max. I'm doing so much. And, it gets overwhelming. So I'm trying so I said the holidays, and then I've just kind of taken a little bit more of a break from the interviews because it's a lot, because I like to read the books and everything. So, and I'm doing a lot of other stuff, and I'm doing a lot of stuff planning for our trip, like different stuff that we've never done before. So it requires a lot of writing and all of that. So I've got all that going on. So there's only so much a person can do. Okay. But there's only so much. We can't live by J-Bells alone either. And there's been a lot happening in the news. And so all week long I've been taking some stories I want to cover, and I take a shot of it and I put it on a thumbnail, and that way when I go in I'll do that. So this is going to be like kind of a weekly roundup of what's out there. Now, will I be doing this every Friday? Will I be doing it Sunday? Will I be doing whatever? I don't know when I'm going to be doing it. Right now I'm doing it now. Now, if we're going to continue on J-Bells, because I want to finish that completely. And we're getting there. Linda would like to know a complete timeline of when we're going to be there, because she wants to move on to Fabric Queen. But Fabric Queen is not going to be the second person. Jenna is. So I probably will be doing more of a weekly thing with the true crime headlines instead of a nightly, not like talking about a case. Now, Monica Simontilli, yes, you're probably asking, yes, I'm still following the trial every day. Robert Baker was on the stand for multiple days. So I'll be doing a roundup on the Simontilli trial too. It's not going to be an everyday thing, it's going to be a roundup on it. So that's what we're going to be doing. A little change. I know people don't like change. I recorded a coffee sponsored video today. That will be up. I have some Las Vegas stuff to put up, but it's, again, so many hours in a day. Tomorrow I'm doing something special with my daughter-in-law to be, so we're doing that, and I'll probably give you a glimpse of that. It might be after, it might be during, I don't know. So we'll see. But right now, let me see if I'm on time yet. Am I on time? I'm on time now. So now I literally can go find the video because I'm on the clock.
Imagine that. 3 minutes early.
Okay, so let's see who's in here. Hello, Gail. Sorry I had to end the Zoom abruptly. I didn't think you were up. Hi, Dina. How are you? Hi, Denise. Denise, listen. Don't freak out, because I didn't even put your stuff in a box or anything. We're having another auction tomorrow. So you check that one out. If there's anything you want in that auction, then we can get it all boxed up together and it'll all ship together. So don't be freaking out that I haven't sent you an amount. You don't worry. I have your stuff put away, and you don't owe me anything today. Don't worry about it. See the auction tomorrow. See if there's anything you want from, and then I'll try to get you an amount Saturday. Probably not Saturday night. Sunday. You can pay me. It doesn't matter. It's no rush, okay? But I just want you to know. Hi, Duping Delight. Thank you for saying that, Denise. And your family is beautiful, too. I got the pictures. I'm sorry. I suck with texts and stuff you'll see in emails. Don't ever feel bad if you don't get a response from me, because I suck with that, really. Okay. So let's see. What should we talk about first? Let's see. I think I'm going to go with I think what I'm going to do is talk about this Texas case, okay? So let me just get Hold on one second. I just want to get an image up here before we... Oh, shoot. That's not what I want there, dear. What is this? Okay, here he is. I'm just going to make this larger. Okay. So, this is a Houston janitor. And why is he in the news? Well, he urinated in water bottles at doctor's office, which spread STD to the office workers. He pled guilty and he's been sentenced to prison. So this is pretty gross, but and Jimmy will always say, like, people don't do stuff like that, like, because I'm like, no, you're naive. They do, and anytime I point out one of these things, he's like, oh, that's like but no. Sadly, we live in a really, really sick society, and I still believe people are good, but I'm not jaded that I don't believe people are not like this, because there are people like this. So anyway, a man with multiple STDs and communicable diseases was sentenced to 6 years in prison for urinating into office workers' water bottles. And this resulted in some of the victims contracting herpes simplex 1 and hepatitis A. Lucio Catarino Diaz was sentenced on Tuesday after he pled guilty to an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. Prosecutors say that Diaz already served more than 2 years behind bars. He'll be eligible for parole after serving 3 years of the 6-year sentence. Want the details? Of course you do. Houston police said the disturbing occurrences happened at a doctor's office along Houston's East Freeway, where he was employed for 20 years. According to the court documents, there was a 5-gallon water dispenser at the medical practice that was used by staff and others. It was the type that had hot and cold settings, situated in the common area. On August 30th, an employee dispensed water from it and noticed it had a funny taste and smell. The woman said, after noticing that the water tasted sour, she dumped it out. From then on, she no longer drank from that dispenser. She brought her own water bottle to fill in. That occurred in September of 2022. And I'm sorry, I want to make a correction. I believe the victim that we're talking about right now is the one that was employed for 20 years by that doctor's office, not the convicted urinator. So let's see. Then the woman said the next time something happened again, September of 2022, she left her personal water bottle half filled with water on her desk. And then when she went to drink the water, she noticed it had the same type of funky taste and smell that she found in that water cooler dispenser, right? So she dumped the water out and threw her personal bottle away. She purchased another bottle to bring to work. And one day, a coworker offered to pour her some coffee in the bottle. But when she removed the cap, she noticed that there was a yellowish liquid inside. The woman smelled it and realized it was urine. Urine. I don't know why I just said that like that. Urine. This is all according to the Houston police. So they took the bottle to the on-site physician, who ran a lab test on the liquid and confirmed that it was indeed urine. Then they shared their findings with another coworker. hold on, my page just said that. Stop it. Who then remarked that she too had been noticing the same kind of strange occurrence. The office did not have security cameras, so the woman whose water bottle had been violated purchased a small camera from Amazon, and she attached it to her computer, and within a short period of time, the motion detector alerted that there was movement near the camera. She reviewed the surveillance video, which showed a disgusting act. The camera showed that the janitor you see there on the screen took the cap off the water bottle, he unzipped his pants, placed his private parts inside the bottle, he urinated, he recapped the water bottle, and placed it on the desk. Footage showed him repeating the vile act twice over a few days. The woman immediately contacted police, and the police went right to Diaz to question him. Investigators say when they were questioning him, Diaz admitted that he did it, and he did it with malicious intent. He allegedly told investigators that he had a sickness and did not know how many times he urinated in the workers' drinking supply. Blood and urine samples were obtained from Diaz, and the results indicated he tested positive for herpes simplex 1 and hepatitis A. One of them was incurable. The victim also had lab work done and learned she contracted the incurable diseases. Doctors said it could have been transmitted to her after she came into direct contact with Diaz's body fluids, which he placed in her personal property. It also turned out she wasn't alone. On November 16th of 2022, it was discovered that 2 more women also were infected with the same diseases. Doctors also say the diseases can weaken the immune system and in some cases be life-threatening. The DA's office filed charges against Diaz October 13th, 2022. He was arrested and was being held by immigration officials. Since Diaz has already served more than 2 years behind bars, he will be eligible for parole after serving 3 years. According to court documents, Diaz will not have to register as a sex offender. His attorney, Jimmy Ortiz, released the following statement, saying, and I quote, "Mr. Diaz was remorseful for his actions and did not want to go to trial and put the complainants through the process as well. He accepted responsibility for his actions and accepted the negotiated plea offer." So then March 25th, there's going to be court, and that is to give the complainants a time to make a victim's impact statement. Wow. Trying to see what some people are saying about this. What's the... Okay, so yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying about this. I want to see. What are you saying about this? Let's see what you said. Okay, I want to get some reactions from everybody. What are you saying? Let me see. So, Sicko Freak, says Denise. Dina says, right, Denise? Duping Delight says, why not just leave if you hate your coworkers? He's disgusting. Hi, Shay. Oh my gosh, Shay, hi. Duping says, we walk the earth with these sickos. Absolutely, Duping. It gave me a shiver. Makes me gag thinking of it. It's just disgusting. Mistook it for the loo, I guess was his defense. Poor woman. Hope her partner wasn't infected too. I hope not truly horrible. Now she has to deal with that for the rest of her life. I don't think the sentence is long enough. So, yeah, gross. And I'm in top chat, not live chat. So if I missed anything, I am awfully sorry. All right, let's go to our next story. Enough of this, right? Okay, get him off of here. See you later. Okay, the bicycle hit and run that's terrible with the teenagers. And I wonder if they got the third one, because when I put it up there, they had only. Okay. So, it's Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I want to just get the, and this guy was targeted on the bike. It wasn't just like, oh, an accident and they got scared and didn't know what to do. No, you're going to be equally, probably, I don't know, I can't say equally, you're going to be disgusted with this. Let me just put it that way. Okay, so here is the cyclist who was killed. Looks like a nice guy. Just thought probably going out for a bike ride, having a nice time, and okay, so let's go here and talk about this. So a 13-year-old, 13, intentionally drove a stolen vehicle into the cyclist as he was riding to work last year, killing him, police say. 2 teenage boys, one 13 and the other one 15, have been charged with murder after the younger boy, the 13-year-old, intentionally drove a stolen vehicle into him as he was riding to work on his bike. It killed him, and that's according to Albuquerque police. An 11-year-old, listen to this one, who was also in the vehicle, will be charged in connection with the crime, though his name was not disclosed. Now, the 13-year-old Jonathan Overbay was identified through a cell phone video that the boys posted on social media. The video, which one of the boys recorded from the back seat, showed Jonathan, 13 years old, right, accelerating towards the cyclist. His name is Scott Dwight Habermel. He was 63. He was on his way to work at Sandia National Laboratories, and this occurred last May 29th of 2024. He was fatally struck at around 4:40 a.m. So he's up early, going to work at the lab, right, on this bike. These 3 kids, 15 and under, steal a car. And they get in this car. 13-year-old's driving the stolen vehicle. Now the 15-year-old, William Garcia, is in the back seat. He tells the driver, the 13-year-old Jonathan, to slow down. Just bump him. And that's on the video. The 11-year-old, who was sitting in the front passenger seat, flashed a handgun to the camera and then ducked as they neared the cyclist. The video, which the Albuquerque Police Department put out there, does not show the moment the vehicle crashed, but the department says in a news release there were loud sounds, including flexing metal. And the cyclist was flung on top of the vehicle. After that, he fell off of the side of the vehicle. The 13-year-old Jonathan was arrested on Monday, and police say they were still searching for the 11-year-old at the time. Jonathan and William, that's the 13 and 11-year-old, are facing charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, leaving the scene of an accident involving great bodily harm or death, and unlawful possession of a handgun by a person. The Bernalillo County District Attorney's Office would not comment on the charges or clarify whether the boys will be tried as adults. The communications director for the New Mexico Law Offices of the Public Defender said it's too early to provide a comment. Detectives didn't initially know who was in the vehicle after it hit the cyclist, but in February, police received an anonymous tip, and it included the Instagram account that posted the video of the crash. Around the same time, a middle school principal also reported the video to the police after a student flagged the post. Investigators searched the phones that belonged to Jonathan and the 11-year-old, and they found footage of the crash. They said that their phones were seized in June of 2024 during a separate investigation. The police did not disclose the nature of the other investigation. Unbelievable, right? (11, 13, and 15). 11, 13, and 15. Okay. Now, I had not planned to do this story, but I can't ignore this one because I think this is important. I think I said the other day there was someone in a church that was accused of siphoning off a few $100,000. This woman in Minnesota, her name is Amy Bach. She's the former executive director of the Minnesota nonprofit Feeding Our Future. She was convicted on Wednesday of 7 counts, and that's when I told you about the other woman, right? Of 7 counts, including wire fraud and bribery. This is the same lady, but I thought they said it was a church. Then we'll see. So she was the executive director of this Minnesota anti-hunger nonprofit. She was convicted in U.S. District Court on Wednesday as being the mastermind of a brazen scheme that reaped more than $240 million in pandemic relief funds, with a network of bogus food kitchens that billed the government for 91 million meals. She's 44 years old. She was convicted by a jury of 7 counts, including wire fraud and bribery. Another defendant, Salim Said, a 36-year-old who oversaw one of the bogus kitchens, was convicted on 20 counts, also including wire fraud and bribery. When Ms. Bach was charged in 2022, federal prosecutors said her scheme was the largest known fraud scheme across the government's COVID-19 relief programs. At least 70 people were charged in the scheme. More than 40 people pled guilty or have been convicted. Last year, another case related to the same scandal made national news when someone attempted to bribe a juror in a separate trial. How did they do that? They left around $120,000 in cash at the juror's home in a Hallmark gift bag. 5 people were later charged with bribery in that case. After Wednesday's verdicts were read, Judge Nancy Brassel ordered that Ms. Bach and Mr. Saeed remain in jail to await their sentencing. From the courtroom. Okay, let me see here. The charges carry potential sentences of more than 10 years in prison. The fraud scheme targeted 2 programs meant to feed hungry children, which were funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, but administered by the state of Minnesota. The system relied on nonprofit groups called sponsors to be watchdogs. They were supposed to oversee these independent individual kitchens and sites where they fed families, kids, and make sure they weren't inflating the number of children that they were serving. When the pandemic hit, federal government was flooded They flooded money into these programs, trying to reach the children who were out of school. And we know this. When the pandemic hit, that's one of the things that was really, really bad. And I said it back in the day. I said we're going to see a lot of kids, unfortunately, who are going to suffer, be abused, murdered, gone, because children who had, especially children that struggled with disabilities or learning disabilities, even ADHD, even things where they require structure, and they're now in a home where their parents are freaking out. Probably maybe their jobs have changed, their money situation has changed, and now they're not only dealing with that, but now they're dealing with these kids that their structure was pulled out. Plus, some of these kids only got food, breakfast, and lunch because they went to school and they qualified for that. So I assume that's what this was supposed to be. They were trying to reach kids who were out of school and unable to rely on those school lunches, breakfasts, whatever, dinners, right? Not dinners, but you know what I mean. The government relaxed oversight and they put more trust in these sponsored watchdogs. And then one of those watchdogs went bad. Do you think it was just one? Highly doubtful, probably. But Ms. Bach ran a sponsorship called Feeding Our Future, and she had conspired with dozens of people to set up 250 non-existing feeding operations around Minnesota. She used her oversight power to hide that network from the government, and by law, Ms. Bach's nonprofit got a cut of the money. Prosecutors said it had eventually totaled $18 million. So no, this is not the same. It just happens to be the same day because that other lady, she was like a couple $100,000. This lady, 18 million. 18 million. Many of these fake operations submitted invoices for implausibly large numbers of children. Mr. Saeed's operation, for instance, said it fed 6,000 a day, more than all the children in that zip code. In another instance, a man said he was feeding 5,000 children a night from a location that turned out to be a second-floor apartment. Prosecutors said the members of Ms. Bach's network had used the proceeds of the scheme to buy homes, cars, and commercial buildings. They said Ms. Bach herself had funneled money to her boyfriend at the time, and they used it to take trips to Las Vegas and rent Lamborghinis. The state of Minnesota had grown suspicious of Ms. Bach's network in 2020 and tried to stop payment to some of the sites, but she sued the state government, saying officials were discriminating against her work because it served many African immigrants and their children. The state then called in the FBI, which investigated and raided Ms. Bach's home and the nonprofit offices in early 2022. So let's get this one, okay? Let's get this. State of Minnesota gets suspicious of her and tries to stop paying some of their sites. So she sues them, knowing that she's doing what she's doing. And so what if she hadn't sued them? Probably she wouldn't even have gotten caught. So there it is, what they say, stupid criminals or whatever. But think of all the people that have done stuff like this and haven't been caught. Because you think she's the only one? I highly doubt that. In the days after the raid, Ms. Bach said that she was unaware there had been any fraud in the operations she supervised. She said if there was fraud, then every test we have in place and every protection we have in place didn't catch it. Is it possible? Absolutely. And if they got one over on us, I will help hold them accountable. Okay, she didn't know about it at all after that raid. Nope. Okay. Well, yeah, sure. Right. All right, let's go back to our regularly scheduled stories. We're going to talk about the Pompano Beach murders now. Murder-suicide, actually. 80-year-old man on that one. Okay. So the mother and son have been identified. They weren't releasing it before, now they are. Excuse me. So friends and neighbors say that 72-year-old Colleen Sheridan and her son, 32-year-old Connor Sheridan, were found shot to death Wednesday night. The mother and son were shot to death by their husband and father, who then took his own life. Friends and neighbors say, this happened on Wednesday night. Broward Sheriff's Office officials identified the shooter on Thursday as 80-year-old James Sheridan, Colleen's husband and Connor's father. Deputies had responded to a welfare check call on a home in Leisureville 55 and over community. It was near the 300 block of South Gulf Boulevard at about 7 p.m. Wednesday night, and they found two vehicles in the driveway. They saw a mailbox that was overflowing. They entered the house and they found the bodies of the family members. Friends remembered Colleen as a wonderful person who would do anything for her friends. They said she was very involved in the community and she volunteered for different organizations and at church. A neighbor, Jamie Selleck, said it's nerve-wracking because everything is going crazy this year. It's terrible because it's a family. It hurts. They're near us and you never know what could happen around here. Neighbors say the family worked together at a nearby thrift store. A note on the door of the thrift store said it would be closed until further notice. Investigators are working to pinpoint when this happened, as it appears the family could have been deceased for days. So, yeah, what happened? You never know. People are scared. People think, 80 years old, he could have had dementia, lots of things. We don't know what's going on, but it's very tragic. Okay, and then on to Scott Peterson. Let's okay. Let me get a picture, a graphic up there, so just hang on one second. Okay, so if you've missed it, Scott Peterson was attacked by another inmate, and that was, hold on, I'm just trying to get his graphic up here. I just have to make this larger. When he was playing pickleball, and now the inmate says, well, they're saying some bizarre stuff about it being God's will, so we're going to talk about that. All right. So he was attacked by a fellow inmate at a California prison where he's incarcerated for life for killing his wife, Lacey and his unborn son Connor. On March 9th, an inmate named Charles R. Miles was walking on a recreational path at Mule Creek State Prison when he attacked Scott Peterson. Spokesperson for the California Department of Corrections, Todd Javernak, said, and I quote, "Staff immediately responded using chemical agents and batons to stop the attack. Both Miles and Peterson were medically evaluated, determined to have sustained minor injuries, and then were returned to their respective housing. Miles received a serious rule violation for the incident. And Miles said, and I quote, "It was God's plan for sure." The court document shows that Miles was convicted of a gang-related murder in 2011, and he's been sentenced to 58 years to life in prison. Peterson, again, is serving a life sentence, and originally he was sentenced to death, but they overturned that in 2020. Remember that one? So he was transferred to the Mule Creek State Prison from San Quentin in 2022. And I know that there's more that this guy said, so because I already went through this, so let me get what he says. Okay. So he said, "I just beat the living F out of him." Now, he does claim that he believed Miles said he did not see the ball that Scott Peterson was chasing. And as Peterson chased the ball, Miles said he overheard another inmate say, "Hey, that's the baby killer." And he said, Miles, and I quote, "It just triggered a primal urge in me. That's when I just took fight on him, and I just beat the living F out of him." So that is what that is about. Next up, let's see where we are in our roundup. And I'm going to go back to the chat to see what you guys are saying, because I'm trying to be more. Oh, look at that. Thank you, A Murder of Crows. Oh, I appreciate that. Very nice. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. How did that's so funny that you can put a comment and it stays there. Look, that's so neat. Click on it and see what happens. Thank you. Because I was wondering how Dina's went up there. Thank you so much. Very appreciated. Thank you, Murder of Crows. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying about this. Hi, Nora Woods. Hi, Easily Distracted. Denise says the devil's workers walk this earth. This is too much. Lord, pray for our world. Please, please keep loved ones safe and precious children. Absolutely, Denise. It's a scary world out there. I tell my kids that all the time. I said people are killing people over a parking space. It's crazy. Hi, Slam Marianne. And it's funny, look, now I can see like Murder of Crows tagged. And you never normally see people tagged except yourself. But I guess if someone put a super chat, you see it now. That's cute. Does everybody else see that? Okay. Now let's see where we are in our roundup and see what we still have to cover. So we've done the bicycle, we've done the Scott Peterson, we've done the Florida family, we've done the janitor, we have the woman killed during a conjugal visit with her murderer husband, and we have the man with the chainsaw at an Illinois nursing home, and then you got a bonus one in there. So let's do the woman killed at the conjugal visit. I researched this all today. get a graphic up here. Okay. So, apparently, a notorious murderer who's serving a life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of 4 men in Los Angeles County reportedly strangled his wife to death during a conjugal visit last year. So who is this? This is David Brinson. And on June 12th of 1990, he shot a retired tavern owner, Robert Marks, who was 59, in his garage apartment on South Burnside Avenue in the Mid-Wilshire district, along with 3 other men. At his trial, witnesses testified that Brinson believed the former tavern owner was a well-connected cocaine dealer when he showed up with a gun and 2 accomplices, hoping to rob the men for drugs and money. The trial was in 1994. After they went through the apartment and only found a tiny bit of marijuana, witnesses testified that Brinson shot the 4 men, Marks and another man, Gene McCullers, who was 28, another man, Celedino Ligtas, 33, and William Terry, 27, execution style. He had them lie down on the bedroom floor and he shot them. The men all were gathered there to watch a basketball game. So now the 54-year-old has been serving his 4 consecutive life sentences. Guess where? Most recently at Mole Creek State Prison. And who just got attacked at Mole Creek State Prison? That was Scott Peterson, right? So, he had conjugal visits. He was allowed conjugal visits with his wife. They're also referred to as family visits. They're held in private. They get an apartment-like facility on the prison grounds. Not like, what was that show? Arrested Development. Weren't they like in like a little trailer? Like a little tiny camper trailer? They get an apartment-like facility. The visits are restricted to immediate family members, including legal spouses, parents, and children. And they last 30 to 40 hours. So this occurred November 13th of 2024, and Brinson told prison officers that his wife passed out. Now his wife, 62-year-old Stephanie Brinson, I wonder how long ago she married him. The prison staff attempted to perform life-saving measures, but she was declared dead before 3 a.m. The coroner's report 4 months after her death revealed that Stephanie Brinson was strangled to death. Amador County District Attorney Todd Reby said that he's awaiting the prison's full report before he files charges. The 54-year-old inmate has since been transferred to the California Healthcare Facility in Stockton. And that's a state prison for incarcerated patients with long-term medical or acute mental health needs. I wonder how long ago that woman married that guy. Let me see if I can find out. Let me see if I can find out. David and Stephanie Brinson. Let's see. And one source says it's not immediately clear how long the pair were married. Trying to see. Another source says it's not clear when they met and were married. Yeah, that's not immediately clear, it's saying. Okay, so then our last story on our thumbnail is the chainsaw at the nursing home, right? The guy that brought a chainsaw into an Illinois nursing home. Okay, this is the man. He looks like somebody. I don't know who it is. Looks like some guy that is an actor in something. I don't know. So the Kane County State Attorney's Office said the officers who shot the man who was wielding a chainsaw will not face charges. Daniel H. Escalera was shot and killed inside St. Charles, Illinois nursing home on December 1st of 2024. He was wielding a chainsaw and asking for his wife. The 41-year-old man from Stockwell, Indiana, about 176 miles away from the western Chicago town, and the said officials still do not understand why he was at the Illinois nursing home. Officials examined body-worn camera, audio and video recording, statements from witnesses to the events, physical evidence from the scene, and the results of an autopsy. And they had a press release this week, and based on the investigation, the state attorney's office found no wrongdoing on the part of the officers, and the review of this matter is now considered closed. A witness called 911 after Escalera entered the senior living home with a chainsaw. Body camera footage shows the first officer took out a taser when he encountered Escalera. Spam risk. Okay, I'm running to get that. Wielding the chainsaw as he entered a cafeteria with multiple elderly residents. Escalera was briefly knocked down by the taser, but he got back up, grabbed the chainsaw, and ran at the officer who shot him with the device. The state attorney's office confirmed all that. The officer evaded the cafeteria, went back into the lobby to regroup with another officer, and they tried to confront Escalera again. Escalera then held the chainsaw up over his head and began to charge towards the officer. One of the officers then shot at Escalera twice and missed him both times. But the third shot hit Escalera in the left arm as he fled the room. Once he reached the hallway, Escalera stopped to the immediate right of an elderly person in a wheelchair and turned towards the officers, held his hands forward in a position which appeared to imitate holding a firearm. The officer fired a fourth shot, which struck Escalera in the chest, and that proved fatal, and he was pronounced dead at nearby Delnor Hospital. The toxicology report shows that Escalera had the presence of amphetamines, methamphetamines, and olanzapine in his system. Olanzapine is a drug that's used to treat the symptoms of schizophrenia. State Attorney's Office concluded that the St. Charles police officer had the reasonable belief that the deadly force he employed was necessary to prevent death or great bodily harm to himself or other individuals. Acknowledging the tragic loss of life and offering condolences to Mr. Escalera's family, the Kane County State Attorney Jamie L. Mosser said, my office has thereby, to Escalera's family, my office has therefore closed the investigation into this matter. Now, I'm confused. Was his wife really there? Because they said he's confused why he showed up there. Was his wife really there? That's what I wonder. But I'd like to leave with a good news, a feel-good story, right? So let's see what we can put in there, okay? Oh yeah, how about a miracle rescue? This I heard about. This is quite the story. Let's do this. We can have a feel-good story. So Avery Bryan and Eva Aponte were lost for nearly 16 hours before they were rescued on March 18th. The two 16-year-old girls were lost overnight after disappearing while paddleboarding. That's scary because that's in Florida where there's alligators and and those anacondas and all kinds of stuff, right? So, yeah. They were rescued on Tuesday. They had vanished off the coast of Florida. Both teens were immediately treated by the rescue team for dehydration and hypothermia and eventually hospitalized. And according to a joint statement from their families shared by the Levy County Sheriff Bobby McCallum on March 21st, as of Friday morning, Bryan and Aponte are out of the hospital. The girls are expected to make a full recovery. And I quote, "We are so thankful that this miracle has occurred, that many prayers were lifted up and those prayers were answered," the sheriff said. In the joint statement, the Bryan and Aponte families thanked the agencies and the community members who responded from other agencies with resources and prayers. The support and immediate response from law enforcement, the community, local fishermen, and first responders came together flawlessly, seamlessly. We are greatly touched and still in awe of the overwhelming and rapid response from everyone. And here's a picture of the girls when they were rescued. And Lieutenant Scott Tummond of the Levy County Sheriff's Office said the girls survived quite the ordeal, which included 6-foot seas, gusty winds, and temperatures in the high 30s. Eventually, the girls reached a marshland, but they were surrounded by sharp oysters and forced to stay there overnight. Tummond believed the girls made smart decisions throughout the ordeal that 100% increased their chances of survival. What mom and dad taught them, it stuck, and thank God they were able to remember some of those life skills. Marina owner Gary Bartel, who helped to rescue the 16-year-old girls, was with the teens for their emotional reunion with their family. The emotions were just flooding that boat ramp from everyone, Bartel recalled. There was one little girl in particular who shot through the crowd and ran up, and she just gave me the biggest hug that I've ever gotten in my entire life. At that point, we both had tears in our eyes. The Bryan and Aponte families have requested privacy as the girls continue to recover, said McCallum. That's a wonderful story, right? I don't know. I hope they do give some more insight on, how that happened and how the girls could really be helpful is to say what they did that was so helpful and what saved their lives, right? That would be helpful to say. So maybe they will come forward and do that. And that will be good. But that's a good story. And I think that's a good note to leave our headlines on, and let me go to you guys so I can read your chats, okay? Lovely feel-good story. Yeah, right? We gotta end it like that. You know, we don't want to be all up in bad stuff, right? So, some things that I'm going to say. Tonight we're going to have a craft night. It's probably going to be a little bit later because I've got probably won't be home till 10 o'clock. So I'm going to tentatively put it for 10:30. If for some reason I get home earlier, great. So that's an event that I have. And then tomorrow, like I said, I'm going somewhere interesting with Gia. I will definitely take a video. I don't know when I will post it, but it'll be fun. And then tonight we'll finish with some more of J-Bells. And don't worry, Linda. Going as fast as we can. She can't wait till we get to Fabric Queen. Fabric Queen. All right, so thank you so much. Everybody have a good day. It's windy like crazy here, but it's 45 degrees. I'm hoping tomorrow's going to be warmer. We'll see. Everybody have a really good day. Stay well, be kind, be safe out there, but don't be so jaded that you don't go do things. Just be aware. Stay aware of your surroundings, and yeah. All right, I will see you guys soon. Bye, everyone. Love you. Thank you again, Murder of Crows. Much appreciated. Everybody take care. We'll see you later on. Let me see where I've got to. That's not my one to end this. Let me see. It should be here.